So we're gonna go ahead and get started. If anyone's a betting person and they want to bet on whether or not I'm going to make it through this without crying, then don't take that bet. That's not a good bet. I've been asked by the family to give the eulogy, and the one thing that I didn't want to do was Google how to give a good eulogy, because I don't want Google to tell me what to say. So I just thought about it, and working with my sister and my brother, we just thought about what we would want to say, and we did. So I'm going to read this as best as I can. Linda was born in Pincher Creek on July 21st, 1945. She was the second child of Audrey and Cecil Beer and had fond memories of working on the farm with Gail, Betty, Jim, Wendy, Marge, and Carol. My mom loved to play pranks. One of her favorite things to do was to play a prank and scare someone. She thought it was great. There was this one time that my granddad asked her, can I go into town? Or my mom said, can I go into town? And he said, no, it's too busy. So she hid in the back of the car and covered herself with a blanket. And my granddad started driving to town, and on the dirt road, she just sat up and, maybe not too loud, simply said, boo. That had a fairly dramatic impact on Granddad's driving, and he in fact was fairly scared, and he would check for years to make sure the back seat was in fact empty. There were stories of salamanders in coffee cups, sheeps that were dyed red and green with food coloring that they thought would wash out before the sale, and that's not how it worked. So they took them to market, decorated nicely, and there were endless April Fool jokes. That lasted for years, and I remember distinctly years ago coming downstairs on April 1st, and I look out into my backyard, and Kaylee and Aislinn, the granddaughters, are sitting there outside just waving at the sky. So I go, hey, what are you guys doing? Oh, Grandma called. She can see us on Google Earth, and we're waving at her. It's not sure that's how it works. Mom had a very busy social life, but by grade 7 she decided that it was time to settle down, and she met my dad. It did take a while. A couple years later they got married, and she had Sandy, Phil, and then me. My mom helped my dad get through high school, SAIT, and eventually he went to the School of Mines. Ibu, and I apologize when I say Ibu, that's Indonesian for mother. I go back and forth. Mom also went to SAIT and became a licensed practical nurse. And she would apply that whenever it was required, but it was questionable medical advice at certain times. I'm not sure that we should have done that, but anyway, we all survived. Mom was really the foundation of support that my dad needed to get through those times. But even when he was crazy busy, she said there was only one rule. You will spend 30 minutes a day with the kids, and you will have playtime. And that 30 minutes, that was the highlight of our day. And I think he'll say now that that was the highlight of his day. The rule in our house was that family time mattered, and we had to spend time together. Mealtime, this was back before cell phones, but you couldn't have any distractions at the table. You'd sit there, you'd talk. Everyone had to say how their day went, good and bad. We were going to list all the countries that she's visited, we just don't have time. So instead, we're actually going to talk about the places that she lived in order. Canada, the United States, Saudi Arabia, back to Canada, White Court, -40. That lasted about 4 months, maybe. Indonesia, Libya, Canada, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, New Zealand, back to Canada, and then part-time snowbirds in Arizona. Ibu, Linda, was an amazing packer. She could just pack anything. We also realized, having gone through a house full of memories, that she never threw anything away. If anyone sent her a birthday card, we have it. You can get it. A Christmas card, a drawing from one of the kids. Not only did she keep it, she wrote when and where on the back. She has a lot of stuff. Dad reminded me that when they were in Indonesia, that Linda was perhaps the only white woman on the island of Borneo that rode around on a motorbike. Even though she forbade us to have a motorbike, she got one. And she'd zip around to the markets and back and forth into camps, and I'm sure she got some really strange looks, but as a family, we were used to that. We always laughed a lot, and a lot of people said, why are they happy? That's not right. Mom was brave. On one trip over to Saudi Arabia, she literally had to talk her way into the country. They wouldn't let her in. She was an unaccompanied woman. They said, no, you can't. And she goes, I will. And nothing was going to stop her. It also didn't help that it was in the middle of the first Gulf War when she talked her way in. And my dad went to the airport and he picked her up with a dozen roses and a gas mask, because that's just super romantic. Here's the flowers, and here's a gas mask in case they attack us. Mom lived to plan parties, dinners, social gatherings, family reunions. I wrote here that she could cook a meal for 2 people or 200, but that's not true. She actually couldn't do 2. It was not possible to feed just 2 people, 20 at least, but 200 was no problem. Even when it was hard to find ingredients, she'd find a way. All the kids went to visit her and Dad in Libya, and she made, how she found the ingredients is beyond me, tomato aspic. That is as bad as it sounds. It's a jelly tomato spicy thing, and she'll serve it whenever she gets a chance. She has a little teaspoon, that's the only bite taken. So the next day, she then made an amazing pizza, and it was fantastic. And my brother Phil said, this is really good, but that aspic yesterday, that was terrible. And she goes, really? Where do you think the tomato sauce came from for the pizza? And it was, in fact, the old aspic. So we called her Ibu, and for those who don't know, as I said, that means Indonesia. That's from Indonesia, it means mother in Indonesian. Ibu fought the cancer for 9 years. And when I say fought, I mean she hated treatment. She just hated it. After every chemo, she would say, that's it, that's the last one, I don't want any more, enough is enough. And then, she'd meet with Dr. Nation. And Dr. Nation would sit her down and say, okay, Linda, this is what we plan next. And her only question wasn't, would it hurt, would I not feel well? Her only question was, will it buy me more time? And Dr. Nation said that it would. When she heard that, she never said no. No matter what they recommended, she always said yes. Because to Ibu, you see, time was valuable. Time meant more walks with Dad, more cribbage games, more stories, more trips, more hugs, more songs, time to plant the rose in the garden, time to sit on the steps waiting for when friends and family would pull up to the house, time to visit, time to make more memories, time to spend with Phil, her husband and best friend, forever. Remember back to that grade 7, forever. She also used that time to tell me that she liked me best. She told my sister the same thing. She liked her best. She told my brother, she told the grandkids, she told the kids next door. Ibu liked each of us best. Everyone who got to know her has that special memory of the time they got to spend with her. She was amazing, the queen of playtime, the best at dress up. She had an amazing ability to make you feel like you were the best. Time with Ibu was always fun. To my dad, I'm sorry for your loss. On behalf of us kids, I wanted to thank you for everything you did to support Ibu through this. You stood by your wife from the first doctor's call to her taking her last breath, and you were the strongest man that I know. You taught Ibu and us kids what it means to love and to be strong. Thanks to you and Ibu, you showed us how to look beyond the prairies to the ocean and to wonder what was on the other side. You showed us a world full of magnificent sand dunes and the darkest jungles. You taught us how not to be afraid of the unknown, and that a good, long meal with good conversation is more valuable than gold. The greatest gift you and Ibu gave us was time together as a family. And you have built that foundation that we still have today. I read somewhere once that there comes a time in the life of a parent when they won't be able to lift up their kid anymore. I know that they must have been physically, because emotionally, my Ibu was always able to lift us up. It didn't matter how stressed we were or how bad our day went, a call from Ibu always made us feel a little bit better. Even today, and for the rest of our lives, Ibu is going to be able to lift us up. A memory, a story, a sunny spring day will always remind us of her. We will remember the good times, the unlimited supply of love and support, the kisses on the forehead on each birthday when she would say, "I hope you had a good day." Ibu, we had more than a good day. We had a great life with you in it, and we are going to miss you forever. You were the soundtrack to our lives, and although you are not physically able to be with us anymore, your memory will forever play in our hearts. Over to you, Sandy.